right? So all my class.
I laugh, but that was really awful, isn't it?
Yeah. So, so she basically told the class that I'm dead.
I watched Lion King yesterday, for God's sake.
I soiled myself. I was expecting that. Yeah.
Yeah, it did make me gag a little bit. Can you remember Zoom Beanies?
Yeah,
I was Beckham for a few years.
Yeah. Gareth Gates was my style icon.
That's why you never had a girlfriend, wasn't it?
Yes, correct.
Give one teacher a shout out.
Mr. Beaver.
Like pressed up against the glass, like that. Slobber all down the window.
I don't like it.
Right, we're in.
Right, welcome to the first episode of In Brother Words with myself, Tommy Bailey.
And me, Robbie Bailey.
And together, no, I won't do that. This one is our first ever one. It's going to be about education. I think it's a good place to start. But before that, who are we? Who are you?
Who am I? Well, I'm your brother for a start, hence the name. And so we live in Swad. Well, we're from Swad. We're both born in Burton and grew up there, but we've lived in Swad for a few years now. I'm 23, and I work for quite a well-known high street retail bank that's Spanish and rhymes with Rantander. So yeah, I'm an accountant and I work there. And that's me.
Yeah, I'm 25, general manager of a restaurant. Rhymes with
Rasaganas.
And yeah, we do this. We started this as a bit of fun, haven't we? A bit of a hobby. We both really like podcasts. We've got a few funny stories. It's a good excuse to get together more often, and we're going to get some interesting guests on as well, hopefully. So yeah,
a couple of thank yous really before we start. I think for two specific people.
God and that.
Yeah, I'll let Tommy lead on these. But two people really that wouldn't be in this position going into the first episode without these two people. So.
Yeah, so the first one is Mr. Daniel Mendonca, Donkers for short. We'll go into that nickname when we get him on the podcast. It's
when we get onto the Magaluf Stories podcast.
Yeah, we'll build up to that. Yeah, he's literally done, so every graphics you see, the logo, the YouTube header, this sign behind us, these planners, everything to do with the branding of the podcast. He has got his own website as well. We'll put the link in the description of the video. But he is genuinely amazing. Check him out. And then secondly, the music for the podcast that you hear, that's not just some default knockoff stuff. That is from Mr. Reuben Hawthorne, who was my good school friend. Yeah, he's an absolute legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
Things he does with that bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, check
Magic
him out as
fingers,
well.
Hawthorne, they call him.
That's what they call him. But no, check him out as well. He's got an amazing YouTube channel. He's just awesome. He's a cool cat.
Yeah.
Should we get straight into the education stuff?
Yeah.
So, me and Robbie started our education journey probably. If we start from primary school, it was Grange, wasn't it?
Yeah, Grange Infants. Shout out anybody who went to Grange Infants back in the day. So yeah, we would have been there from reception onwards, really.
How much do you remember of it? Because I remember my first, year one class.
Yeah, well, if you remember, I didn't actually have much of year one because I had meningitis. Can you remember?
Straight to sympathy, into straight away.
Yeah, we
I'll put a Patreon in the description.
We can make that bit black and white and just that. Yeah, no, so I didn't have much of year one, but I remember my memories of year two are there's a corridor with a little RCT room that runs off it, and we were playing Pingu game. And
the Pingu game's classic, and Noddy, the game.
Yeah.
Can you remember Zoom Beanies? Anyone who can remember that, even if you don't, Google it, and you'll know it straight away. All the fields come back, and the games usually are picking combinations to get them through to the next thing.
Yeah, I
don't know how it's educational at all, but did me grand.
Yeah, I say that the 2 years or 3 years that we had there has obviously impacted our education because all we seem to be able to remember is Pingu, Noddy, and Zoom Beanie games. So I do remember there was a fire there once, wasn't there? Do you remember there was some sort of Christmas play or something like that where all the kids, so it would have been you in the year above and me maybe in year one or something, and we were all in some sort of big assembly, and they turned the nursery reception area into a creche for the younger children of the parents who were going to the thing that we were at.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a fire. Can you remember? Because Lexi was in there.
Yeah.
our little sister Lexi again. Shout out Lexi. She was obviously young at the time, and she was in the crash, wasn't she? And I think, if I remember the story, was that one of the little kids had thrown their jumper onto the oven. I think
That's like a classic thing you hear on a fire course, isn't it?
Yeah. So like, I think they'd thrown their jumper onto the hob,
Yeah.
and then obviously.
Someone told her they're cooking jackets tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. New take on a jacket.
But yeah, that was mainly a fun era, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I only really remember doing like crafty stuff. I can't remember doing any work as
Yeah.
such. And I remember because we got free milk,
Oh, classic. Yeah.
and no one liked it. So I had like 8
yeah,
cartons.
you thought it'd be rude
Probably where it
to
all
just-
started.
Yeah, it'd be rude to just leave it. I'll just drink everybody's milk.
Yeah. And yeah, I just used to have everyone's. And we got a carrot as well.
Really?
Yeah. Raw carrot.
Milk and a carrot. What's that? Everybody was Rudolph. apparently, in the school. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a weird combination, isn't it?
Mm.
But remember the
Remember that?
remember them? Remember the like Christmas plays and stuff. So
Mm.
Tommy, we'll get onto this probably down the line, but Tommy, as a youth, was always either the narrator or the main character in whatever play we did.
Or wrote it.
Yeah, or
As we'll
wrote
get
it.
onto.
Yeah, I'm sure that's on your
I
list.
was very much like on Toy Story 3 or 4, that hedgehog,
Yeah,
you know. And
Mr. Pricklepants.
Yeah, I am Mr. Pricklepants of Burton.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll get on to that.
yeah,
So then it was on to Belvedere
yeah.
for junior school.
Yes.
And I
What a
absolutely
school.
love Belvedere.
Yeah, great school.
Yeah, I've not been recently.
Yeah, no.
Not like I say on record.
Yeah. Tommy's not allowed to go now.
That ankle tag.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both stuck at that, so that we were both there for the whole 4
Yeah,
years, weren't we?
Yeah. If everybody don't know where that is, it's near Shobnall Fields, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Around the back of near Shobnall Fields.
Again, I thought it was a very good school.
Yeah, classic.
I think we've both been quite lucky to say that we haven't been to any dodgy schools, and B, we both really enjoyed it, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when people say, obviously you within your right to say it, but when people say they didn't enjoy school or they hated it, like, I feel really sorry for them.
Yeah.
Because I loved it. Like, I feel so much nostalgia for every aspect of school.
Yeah. I used to look forward to going to school.
Mm.
I do remember one of the things I remember about Belvedere was that was around the time. Well, I mean, we've always been. Our mum always sort of made us look nice when we went to school in terms of we'd always have a hair done and things like that. We used to have classic spiky hair. Like
Robbie was the
kids.
first to have the Gareth Gates twists.
Gareth
in
Gates
his
was my
hair.
style icon
Yeah.
as a young child. So I had the waxed tips, twisty hair. But yeah, we always had classic 99p jelly-like gel in your hair.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of Lynx Africa. That was us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I do remember once we didn't have any gel, and rather than just send us to school without our hair done, like any normal 7 or 8 year old child, which is completely fine, we went to Jagpal's shop. Shout out Jagpal's if you're watching, and had our hair done on the street. Can you remember outside?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that one.
Something I noted down here, which completely just came to my head as I was driving. Can you remember doing sex education?
But ever.
I remember it at Belvedere once, and it was in the staff room, and that sounds really weird.
Yeah, with
The
that
teachers
PE
weren't in
teacher.
there.
Yeah, I remember him.
Always in the dark, wasn't it?
Yeah, he wasn't there long, was he?
But yeah, I just remember sitting on the floor watching the video and being like, "Oh, right."
I honestly don't remember ever doing it. I mean, we must have at some point, unless I'm doing it wrong. I mean, leave a comment if I'm doing it wrong. But I must have learned it somewhere. But yeah, I don't remember ever sat down and actually I think we did. Yeah, it probably was Belvedere or maybe very early DeFerrers, which we'll get to in a minute. But maybe like because I remember in PSHE, yeah, I do actually in PSHE and DeFerrers, in those little huts that you have outside on Dove campus. I do remember being sat in there and watching quite a graphic video once. Yeah, they wouldn't burn me a copy, no matter how many times I asked. But yeah, so that's a good point actually. I don't remember anything vividly about sort of going home and thinking, right, okay, I now know how to do this or not know how to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the things you learn as you go along, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think you learn much from the actual lesson itself, do you?
No, apart from like you can label some stuff, but you know, it tends to kill the mood in the bedroom when you start labeling it. Do you know what I mean?
Can you remember like what you were interested in during that year 3 to year 6? Like, what did you want to be? I know you wanted to be a lion when you were.
Yeah, I wanted to be a lion until I was about 10. So that was the dream. And
the
then
main
here.
dream.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. That was the main dream. I wanted to take pride in my work.
Well, brilliant.
And yeah, so I think I wanted to be a lion, and then as soon as I found out you couldn't be a lion, then you just settled to be an accountant, really.
It's a natural progression.
Yeah. So every accountant you've ever met, you know, they've always gone from either lion or maybe giraffe or something early doors, and then they've just said, "Oh, I'll just settle for accountant."
Because you're looking for the lion's share of the money.
Again, it's good. It's good stuff. It's all good stuff.
Segue. Watched Lion King last night at the age of 25 for the first time ever.
Out of 10.
I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
Was that respectable?
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult to know what you'd give it if you... Because I assume you either knew the story or something.
Well, a lot of it's the nostalgia, isn't it? So I imagine everyone thinks it's amazing because they watched it when they were younger.
Yeah.
I knew that his dad was going to die.
What?
I knew that because it's just classic, like, it's just culture, isn't it? Everyone knows that Mustafa dies.
Mustafa?
What's his name?
Mufasa.
Oh, Jesus. How long did it took me? 11 minutes into the first. You'll learn I'm not good with names, am I, at all?
No.
At all. But no, it was good. But it wasn't helped by the fact that I watched Coco the night before.
Yeah.
Which is,
brilliant.
You know, we won't waste an hour of footage on it.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Well, what's that like? Well, it's got to be touching 20 years later in terms of...
Yeah, I was impressed with the...
Different thing.
I was impressed with the graphics and stuff. It was 94, same year as me.
Yeah, what I was into at that time was I quite liked Dick and Dom in the Bungalow. But in fact, we both did.
Yeah.
So yeah, children's TV. Bamzuki as well. That's everybody can remember that. Remember that?
Yes.
Where you used to make you like your robots, and
Jake
I never
Humphries
really understood how that worked. In fact, I still don't now.
I do
As
because
a
I made
program.
one. I made one. But it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, but how did they do it as a program? You know, like when it was on telly, and then they had a table like this, and Jake Humphries was like, "Oh, you know, whatever his name is, he's just knocked the ball in the net or something." But could he see that or not?
I imagine they probably watched it on a monitor, like a screen, like a computerized screen, and then they made it look holographic on the.
That sounds good to me. Yeah.
Power of telly and that now, like Pippin can't really ride an aeroplane.
No.
It's a joke.
But it did seem like they were there on the table. But then, like I say, that's the magic of TV, isn't it? So yeah, mainly children's TV, I suppose, was what we were into. And we both played football as well, like for the football team there at Belvedere. That was probably the peak of my athletic ability, I would say. Like year 5, year 6 football. Mainly because it was, 7-a-side and quite poor quality.
But I do remember, like, at lunchtimes and that, there was a good, probably 2 years, you could probably remember, I had these, like, square kickers from Brantano.
I think Auntie Kate bought us them.
Shout out to Auntie Kate.
Yeah.
Every free kick I hit flew in.
It was like 99 curve.
I was Beckham for a few years. 100%. And I don't even know. It was just magic. I just hit it, and it went in every time. So then I got drafted in. I only went in year 5 and year 6. Because...
Yeah, because you remember the name of the two teams?
Belvedere Bulldogs and Belvedere Bullets.
Yeah, it was like A and B team.
Yeah, I was in the B.
Tell the story about the tournament.
Yeah, I've actually got that written down here. Yeah. So we did a tournament. I think I was in year 5 at the time, or maybe year 6, and it was very hot. I can remember. I think I had sunstroke after. And all my family came down. Thinking about it now, it's really cute because I was some little chubby lad in the B team, and I was on the bench for the first 2 games. But I probably had the most family there. It was like mum, dad, everyone. Yeah. And I came on, didn't I? Was you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I came on, and I could only be described as Roberto Carlos, the first player I saw. Didn't I? So I literally rolled it past him, knocked it down the line.
Sent him for hot dogs, didn't you?
For a goal, and we got to the semi-final of the whole tournament. Like, I did really well, and
Wasn't it you against them?
Yeah, we got knocked out against the same school's A team on penalties.
Yeah, against B.
But I did score my penalty.
Yeah, he did. Dispatched it.
Past
Yeah.
Callum Slaney. Shout out Callum Slaney.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't. He ain't let that
I mean,
go yet.
that's not on his CV, is it?
No,
it's not on his LinkedIn.
Definitely not. But yeah, we were majorly into sport. I did gardening club.
Did you?
Yeah.
What, above there?
Yeah,
Didn't know
with the caretaker. What was his name?
Oh yeah,
Same bloke who did sex
Gary
education.
Greenfingers.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good time to get into. That's one thing I will say, because we lived so. The distance you live from a school dictates how much extracurricular stuff you can do.
Yeah,
definitely.
100%.
Because I could just walk home after gardening club, after I've soiled myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not an issue. But then kind of going into secondary school, I don't know about you, but I didn't really do many after school. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were so reliant on that bus, weren't we?
Yeah.
This probably transitions us nicely over to Ferrers, is where our secondary school
Yeah,
was.
but I've missed all my good stories from Belvedere.
Yeah, we'll go back then.
So speaking of
Oh yeah.
sporting prowess, it says here 100 metre splash.
100 metre splash.
Yeah, rather than the 100 metre dash. So I'll set the scene. So it's year 6, and I was the head of the house system. So we had houses there. Can you remember?
Yeah.
I think we did as well at De Ferris, but at Belvedere, I think it was trees, wasn't it? So like birch, elm, ash, and oak. Wasn't it? Can you remember? And we were both in birch. I don't know if it was some sort of family sort of dynasty, like a Gryffindor.
Family tree.
Your brother's a Gryffindor, so you are, sort of thing. That was a bit like what it was like, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And in our time, birch were also Rans, really. They were just never involved, really, at the top level. So I was volunteered to do the 100 metre sprint in the sports day, year 6 sports day for birch. Now, I'd say on a good day, I was maybe the 4th or 5th fastest person in the year. So I thought maybe outside chance of a medal. But I'm going to need one of the others to, pull a hammy or something.
To not turn up.
Yeah, exactly, to not turn up on the day. So I'm there, I'm lining up. I'm not expecting anything major. But sort of maybe 50 to 60 metres into the race, I'm in the race. I'm there. I'm comfortably in 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to get a medal here. And that's heroic for a birch person. So as I've got towards the second half of the race, and I've topped out, I've maxed out, I'm max speed at this point, and then I can start, you sort of hear or feel people coming behind you. Someone's coming to take me bronze. So I've strained, is the only way I could describe it. I've strained as hard as I possibly could to, win this race, or at least be on the podium. And I soiled myself.
What? Genuinely?
Yeah, filled me pants at about the 75 metre mark. But
Did you please tell me you carried on?
Yeah, that extra it propelled me to the bronze. So yeah, got the bronze. And I got the brown as well when I went to the toilet. Yeah, but so I was finished off, straight into the toilet, and I made it back for the medal ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
But so Usain Bolt.
That's classic.
Yeah, Justin Shatlin.
It's all good stuff.
So it's all there.
It's all there. What? I know you've got one good story about.
Oh, I've got a cracker as well.
Yeah.
I've got to tick these off. I've got some good ones from over there.
Imagine a story that's better than you shitting yourself.
Yeah. I've got another sort of side one before I get onto the main story. I actually thought about this yesterday. It says here, Harold the Giraffe, weird nonce van. Can you remember that?
It weren't the greatest marketing calling it the nonce van.
No.
But anyone from our generation, or maybe even slightly before, will know there used to be it was a mobile library. Basically.
I found out what it was called. The Life Education Van. Give it a Google if you're thinking about. I remember that, but I'm not sure what it looked like.
Yeah.
There was a bloke, sort of a torso of a bloke behind a little cabinet. Can you remember who lit up?
Like a skeleton, but
Yeah.
with organs inside.
Mm-hmm.
It's a body, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
then obviously Harold the Giraffe.
a giraffe.
Can you remember? Because I didn't remember until yesterday, and I was like, look, can you
He
remember what
was-
it was about?
Wasn't he? The giraffe was.
It wasn't emu, it was a giraffe.
No, but he was.
He was giving it all that. Yeah. I think what she did, I say she because it was a picture on the.
Did you just
the woman.
assume that
Yeah,
giraffe?
I assumed Harold's gender, and so I think he was ahead I don't want to ruin the magic of it, but he was a head like inside a box, and then she like put her hand in the box as if to say, "Oh, I'm just gonna get something from in here, kids, for the next 10 minutes," and then she was like that, like so. It was not ventriloquism really, because I think, if I remember rightly, that the giraffe had a voice that was like built into the surround sound system. So like part of the it was like it's clips.
The giraffe was miming, basically.
Yeah, exactly. He was stealing.
The giraffe has got a voice.
He was stealing a living, to be honest.
Yeah, I heard he was an heavy smoker in between schools, and so they had to get it hooked up to a pre-recorded one, because that was he'd be like, "Hey, kid, you're right."
Yeah. Or just selective mute from having a woman's hand up his arse. Yeah. So and it was about like drugs awareness, and this is what I found out yesterday. It was all
drugs
about
are bad, okay?
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. And then, if you remember, the ceiling of the back of the truck, it was like a flatbed truck, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the ceiling was like stars and stuff. Can you remember? Because then you had to sort of lie down on what I remember feeling really nice carpet, and the wall was carpeted as well, which was I always thought it was good, those rooms in schools. And then you sort of lay back, and the stars were up there and stuff.
It was nice.
Good that was.
I think that's where I got into reading for the first time as well. I actually found it quite cool. I mean, so like I read a lot of Roald Dahl books in those junior years.
Yeah.
Best favourite one?
I like the twits.
Nah, shit. No, it is good. I like one. It's called The Giraffe, the Pelly and Me.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's decent. And Horrid Henry was
Yeah,
elite.
I read all the Horrid Henrys.
Yeah, really
Horrid
good.
Henry gets nits, gets rich as well. That's a good one.
Yeah, but what did you think when they released it on CITV as a cartoon?
Initially, I thought, oh no, I'm not happy about this because it's going to ruin. It's a bit like people I've spoken to who read the Harry Potters before they watched the film and don't say the films aren't as good. And then obviously you got like casuals like us who just watch the films and you say, oh, the film's great. But apparently the Harry and Hermione and everybody else in that film that's actually in the film doesn't actually live up to what your own imagination creates it like. Which makes sense, because obviously if you only watch the films, then what you think about the characters and that whole universe, if you like, is dictated by what you're watching on the screen. The screen's already told you what Harry looks like or what the world looks like and everything like that. If you don't have that limitation of the screen and it's all in your head, depending on how good imagination you've got, Harry Potter could potentially be better film in your head when you read the book. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I did worry that they would ruin what I thought of Horrid Henry. But I actually think it's quite good, to be honest, that programme. And I think that his brother is brilliant in it, like in terms of they've made him
Peter.
Yeah, perfect Peter. So it grew on me, to be honest.
It's decent. There's a film, isn't there, that's not animated. It's
yes. Has it got
I've not seen it.
No, has it got David Williams? No, I don't think it has, actually.
I'm not sure, but I've not seen it.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to.
No, I don't think I'd want to watch the live action one.
No.
Yeah, so my other good story about Belvedere was, and I'm not going to mention any teacher's name in this because I actually think this potentially is not very good on the teacher. The story isn't great on the teacher, but
no.
So what this is I was in year 6, and I was just on the playground. I think I was just playing football or something. And my English teacher at the time comes out onto the playground, taps me on the shoulder and says, "Oh, Robbie, I've got a little like job for you." Yeah, I mean, if it was the PE teacher saying it, I'd have said something. But, so he said, "Robbie, I've got a little job for you. Can you just like come in here? It's like a little mission." And I say she, because it was a she.
Or he.
No, it was a she. I won't say the name. She packaged it up as it was some sort of like cool mission game that I was going to be involved with, which obviously at that age you're thinking, oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah. So she says, right, we've got English after lunch. I want you to sit in this store cupboard until I come and get you out. All right? So I was like, oh, okay. So next to the classroom where we did our English, there was a store cupboard that was quite small, and it was just full of like books. So whatever book we were reading in that year. And then one of those them grey stools. If you look like an upside down bin is what it looks like.
Yeah.
People stand on to get things off the height. So basically one of them in the middle and all these books around the edge. So she was like, oh, just sit on that stool and I'll come and get you in a bit. So this was maybe I had maybe about 40 minutes. And I was just sat locked in this store cupboard for 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I was just sat there. I think I was just flicking through Ken Zook's Kingdom or whatever it was back in those days. And just thinking, oh, don't know what's going on here. And then this next part of the story, obviously I wasn't there as in the room for this bit, but this has come to light as to what actually happened next. So all my class then, the bell goes, all my class come in for the English. I'm still locked in the store cupboard. And all the class sit down. She comes in and says, class, I've got something really sad to tell you. I'm really sorry. But Robbie Bailey had an argument. I think she said I had an argument with a teacher or something. And he ran out of the school at dinner time. He's been hit by a car and he's dead. Right? So all my class...
I laugh, but that was really awful, isn't it?
Yeah. So, so she's basically told the class that I'm dead. So obviously I'm sat next door in the store cupboard, just not knowing what's going on. Mm-hmm. So my mates are obviously like shocked, and some laughed.
Both of them.
Some laughed. Yeah. They were both shocked, my mates. But everybody's like upset, and like some people were crying apparently, which is nice. And then she leaves the room, comes to the store cupboard, gets me out, says, "Oh, like you can come in now." So I just walked in, like not a clue what had been. I didn't even know what she'd said or what happened, and I came in to everybody like crying and looking just completely shocked and like happy to see me. Obviously, it was good for me.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "So guys, those emotions that you just felt when I told you that Robbie had died, I want you to use them in your creative writing."
As methods go,
yeah,
that's
pretty
shocking,
special, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like you say, a good little anecdote.
But quite bad teaching.
But yeah, you wouldn't name and shame her or
No.
Or her.
Yeah.
It's
bad, that, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we probably will call out a couple of teachers later, but only in a positive light. Yeah. So all my PE teachers are all right. They're safe. Should we go on to De Ferrers then?
Yeah.
So secondary school was De Ferrers. It was De Ferrers High School when we started, but De Ferrers... No, it wasn't. It was De Ferrers Technology College when we started.
Yeah.
And then became De Ferrers Academy, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Became like a self-governed thing. I can remember seeing David Cameron at reception at Trent, in the reception area,
really?
in the office, yeah. With his surrounded by like people in suits. I think he came for something because we were like the first.
Was he
one
Prime
in
Minister then?
Yeah, we were like the first one in Staffordshire to be named as an academy or something.
Yeah.
I think he just came and had a few photos and stuff. It's probably a reason why.
Probably before he was Prime Minister, wasn't it? I think
he was
Prime Minister
probably
in
like
2010?
an MP or something. But
yeah.
Good effort. They probably don't advertise that kind of thing, do they? Because you'll have people, especially in Horninglow.
Exactly. Yeah.
You'd be lucky to get through alive, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have any negative thoughts about De Ferrers. I think we were both in top sets, weren't we, all the way through, which was nice.
Because you went to De Ferrers first, obviously, because Tommy's 1 year above me at school. So you went to De Ferrers first, and we still lived in Burton then, at that point. And then obviously we moved up to Swad, but I still went to De Ferrers because you were there. So I've commuted, if you like, to De Ferrers from the very first day, whereas I think maybe for the first few months or so you actually lived in Burton and went to De Ferrers, didn't you?
Yeah.
For a while. But then throughout all of it, really, up until we got a car in sixth form, we used to get the bus every day, didn't we? Which was probably the one downside of that going there, really. Particularly in the winter, it was pretty grim, wasn't it?
Yeah, we used to have to get up at 6:30, didn't we?
Yeah.
From this very house and walk to the bus stop for 25 past 7, something. And then it'd be about an hour and a half, wouldn't it, to get to school every morning. It was a bit of a grueler, wasn't it?
And then back in the evenings and stuff.
Remember
you used to fall asleep on the bus. And
I was just about to say, the amount of times I've got on the bus, I feel sound. And then an hour and a half later woke up, pressed up against the glass, slobber all down the window and bloody Taylor Swift or something blaring out my earphone because I haven't had time to shamefully hide it.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I've got on my list actually about the bus days, because there was quite a lot of kids who got on that bus who went to, I think, like Robert Sutton and those sorts of places that are, on the route into Burton. Mm-hmm. But we were obviously the only kids who got on so early and got off so late because we did pretty much the whole route.
Yeah. So
we tended to make friends with the older women who were on the bus, so like the old women who were going in to do their shopping every day or to go to work and stuff. So we had a little gang, didn't we, of like a group of middle-aged women really, and then us two.
Yeah.
Who are some of the people we still see now. out and about when they work in shops and stuff. Which is
we're
nice.
always quite mature for our age, really, weren't we? Like we probably got on better with adults than people our own age.
I think so as well.
In terms of like friendship groups, we've always been.
Not had any.
We've always had nothing. I wouldn't say, because when you say the popular kids, that sounds like the ones who were always and in trouble and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We were in like the nice group all the time, weren't we? And I think always able to kind of flip between groups, which is a nice.
Like the in betweeners resonated with me so much. Yeah.
Which one would you say you were if you had to be one? I'd say you were probably Simon.
Simon, he's a melt, isn't he? I'm probably him.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably him, to be fair.
I'm the PE teacher.
No, you're the geography teacher. What's his name? Oh, you know the one. I've had a word with the man. He's in the modelling.
That's the one I meant.
Yeah.
So yeah, what kind of things do you remember when you think about the Ferrers? Got any funny stories?
That was the end of my footballing career. Really, was the Ferrers.
Short-lived.
Yeah, it was short-lived. But I think I was in the football team in I think year 7. I think it was mainly just because I played football at lunch with the guys who did. Like Jossie and Harry and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's how I sort of got in the team. But I've got a 100% goal record for the Ferrers.
Nice.
So no one's got a better goal for game ratio than me because I played one game.
Unlike your Tinder career.
Yeah. I played one game and I scored the 18th goal in an 18-1 win against Abbott Bain.
Yeah, tight.
It was sort of fair until I came on and then shored it up and secured the win with the 18th goal of the game. So that was it. My one game, one goal, and then bowed out of the top really. And that was the end of all sport for me really at a competitive level.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. But in terms of extracurricular stuff, we used to go on because obviously we used to commute there and back on the bus. It was difficult for us to do that sort of thing. But obviously you wanted to do drama, and on a Wednesday night, we always used to go to Grandma and Grandad's, didn't we, every week throughout the whole life pretty much. And you wanted to go to drama club, and I didn't particularly. So for a while, I think Grandad used to come to Burton twice, or come and pick me up and then wait for you. So then I think I basically got talked around to join in drama club, so that you could go to drama club basically.
Yeah.
So that we'd stay for an hour or so, whatever it was, after school, and then Grandad would come and pick us up then. So I somehow managed to get roped into a production of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh yeah. What were you?
Well, Tommy was Aslan, as I said earlier.
Standard.
He tends to be like one of the main parts. Obviously, you were good at acting then. Well, you still are, but you were good at acting then, weren't you? Particularly.
I don't know.
But you did GCSE drama and stuff, didn't you? Like down the line after all this.
Can't remember what I got. I think it was an A-star or something.
So I've been roped in. So they've thought, oh, he's good. He's Aslan. Oh, this is his brother. I bet he'll be good as well. I bet it's in the genes. Mr. Beaver.
But you thought, damn.
Oh, yeah, good.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Again.
So I think I did a really awful Cockney accent, because he has a Cockney accent in the film, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think I tried that, which I don't think went well. But I do remember being on stage with my big cardboard tail and
yeah.
Can you remember that play and stuff?
I can remember the play. I can remember it being really underwhelming. I can't remember big lights, big production.
No. You weren't on all fours or anything, were you?
Not for the play.
No. yeah. Not in front.
Rehearsals were a bit weird. But can you remember performing it in front of people?
Yeah, I remember being on stage. I was at the front right corner of the stage at Dove, and I was talking to, I think the girl's name was Sally, who played Mrs. Beaver. She, not talking, just having a chat with her, within the dialogue of the play. I think, whatever it is. And I do remember being at that point, and then my tail was, I had this big sort of cardboard beaver tail thing. Mm-hmm. So I do remember, we definitely played it out. But I don't remember who else was in it. Who were the kids?
Tommy Loftus was Mr. Tumnus.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, of course he was.
Yeah. Amber was the Queen, so she was in my year. Sounded a bit like Kate Thornton, had a croaky voice.
Yeah.
And the rest, I think Ellie Thompson.
Oh, of course.
Might have been.
Back to me now, yeah.
But yeah, I was always into drama. Did it enjoyed it throughout because you had to do it 7, 8, and 9, didn't you?
Yeah.
1 hour a week. Then did it for GCSE. Loved it again. And then shout out Mr. Cook Abbott. Is it Steve Cook Abbott?
I think so. Yeah.
I had Mr. Hackett as well. Both really good teachers. But I'd really like to get Mr. Cook Abbott on here at some point because he's I think a Canadian guy, isn't he? But he was A, an amazing teacher, but B, he's got some really good stories. He now does stuff for the UFC as well, doesn't he?
Didn't he? Yeah, he does.
MMA stuff.
Yeah, I think he's like similar to like an IFL TV sort of YouTube media, but in like the mixed martial arts.
He's had some
world,
extra parts in like some films as well.
Yeah, wasn't he a wrestler or something at some point?
Yeah, he's got also.
Yeah.
He'd be awesome to have on.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
But I really vividly remember his face when I told him I wasn't doing it at A level. Like he was.
Really? Yeah, but was he acting or was he?
Yeah, I don't know. He said, "Just wait there a second." Or he said, "End tablet," and walked away. But yeah, he literally told me that if only I wanted to do it in the year, he would do it. Like,
really?
Still run the classes. Yeah. But I'll tell you my problem. I don't have regrets, and we'll on another podcast we'll go on to like biggest fears and that. Mine's always been regret. Right. I can still do creative stuff alongside whatever else I choose to do. I don't regret not doing drama and stuff like that because it's not like I'm not interested in it in terms of.
You're just good at it.
You can be good at it, but like I'm not into musicals. I'm not even into films, am I? You know, I'm not. I watched Lion King yesterday, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and whereas the rest of the drama crowd seemed to be very into it, I wasn't at all. Do you know what I mean? I weren't bothered about going to plays. They ran some trips to go and see like Clockwork Orange and other stuff, and I kind of felt like I was going because I was Mr. Drama. I didn't actually enjoy it. Yeah,
there's a difference between having the skill and ability to be good at acting at that age and being interested in being an actor and the art of it and the actual plays and stuff.
If you just did as a career whatever you were good at, then all the time, I'd be a porn star, wouldn't I?
yeah. I don't know what I'd be, to be fair.
Beaver.
Beaver. Yeah, I think
full-time beaver.
Yeah, full-time beaver. Yeah, so similar career path there.
So yeah, I didn't do that. I went more academic, and I did at A level maths, biology, physics, and business. And
it's quite a weird combination. That. Can I just
wait?
Can we just wait 2 seconds? I'm just going to check that camera's still running.
Why? What are you thinking?
I just want to periodically, as before we start, a different story or whatever.
Yeah, we are going to look for someone to just sit behind the camera at all times, just in case that happens. So send your CVs through to Rob.
We'll just edit that bit out.
Yeah.
Okay,
but how? How?
What do you mean?
How will you edit it out?
Cut it out.
Just Mr. Beaver to the next thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Beaver.
So ultimately, what I chose to do at A level didn't really matter anyway, because obviously I didn't go to uni or I chose to dip out of A level. I got one A2s. I followed business all the way through, but the other ones didn't do too well at AS level, and then. Whilst I carried business through to A2, I decided to retake maths and biology, and I just completely lost interest. Like you still had the bug for it and wanted to carry on, but I just really wanted to work and stuff.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who get to that point, and I think we'll probably do another podcast about careers and sort of life journeys in that way. That you could probably go into that a bit more. But I think there's a lot of people who feel the same when they get to A levels, that they've sort of burnt out a bit at GCSE, and you just do A levels because you feel like you're supposed to, and you're not there for the right reasons. And if you're not there for the right reasons in anything, in any walk of life, then you're not going to put your heart and soul into it, and you're not going to do as well as you probably should do. Do you know what I mean? Which is fair. But yeah, I always liked school really. At the Ferrers, like I say, we were in like top sets throughout, weren't we?
Yeah.
So we did like the triple sciences and stuff like that. That was the only thing I didn't like about school. I still, now looking back, I don't have any regrets about anything. I don't think you should really. But one thing when I think about school that maybe I do think possibly I would like to have concentrated a bit more in like science and stuff, because like when I'm doing the stuff with Maisie for homeschooling, like since this whole thing's happened, like with the maths and that, it's all fine, it's all still there, and even with the history and stuff, which I've always liked, and geography and things, but with the science, like I only really know the basics. As you know, you find yourself learning as she is at that age, and
Yeah.
you do think that for somebody who's done 3 GCSEs in it, you should have more than a key stage 3 level knowledge of the stuff. But it never interested me at the time.
No.
And I actually think maybe it was something to do with the layout of the rooms in science, and it's only the way that they can do it, because it has to be benches and
like
weird
the
stools and stuff. But like,
didn't feel comfortable.
yeah,
did it?
I was never comfortable. And maybe as well, sometimes like the lessons were either after lunch or before lunch or whatever, or maybe it just happened that I never felt ready and that I wanted to like learn particularly, and they always felt like a doss around lesson to me, really, which is a shame, because I think it's quite an important thing to do. Like, so obviously I did further maths at A level, and there was 11 of us in that class that did that, and I was the only one who didn't do physics at A level. So, I mean, that would have helped massively if I did.
Really hard.
Yeah.
A-level,
But the maths, but the mechanics at maths modules at further maths, it's basically the same as the maths that you do within the physics. So they were getting it loads quicker than me in the mechanics modules, particularly, just because they do it, both lessons sort of thing. So, not that I would have done it at A level, I don't think, because I did maths, further maths, and history, and German at A level. But I dropped German at AS because I got a U at AS in German. So I got an A star at GCSE and a U at AS.
Jesus.
Yeah, because that jump is huge with any language, really. That jump was big. And because the maths and the further maths were so hard, and that was my main thing that I was good at and that I wanted to go in, do something down the line with, I focused on that, where you'd really need to, if you're going to do languages at A level, you probably need to have that as your main thing or one of your main things. And I basically sacrificed it for the maths, and then it meant that the 3 that I carried on, being maths, further maths, and history, was just a little bit like, it's not broad, is it? That it's just maths and history, basically, just a lot of maths and history.
At least you went into that knowing that if it all went tits up, you can be a beaver, and that's a massive thing to fall back on.
Yeah, exactly.
Give one teacher a shout out. Because if I had to sit here and say every teacher who I like,
I don't
I'd be
mind
here all
straight
day.
away. And it's somebody that would probably like to get on the podcast because he's retired now, so he could probably tell us a few more stories. But that's Mr. Wilden, Colin Wilden, absolute legend. And I say I always liked maths, and that was always the thing that I was the best at. And I did it all the way through to A levels and stuff. And he actually taught us in every year, I think, from year 7 onwards. All the way through to sixth form, and actually his retirement came up in the January of our year 13, so he could have left in the January, and he extended his stay at Ferrers for a few more months just to see our year group out, because obviously I had me and Eddie and Brad and the other guys, and he did that, and we got him a little gift at the sixth form, like leaving assembly and stuff. And absolute legend.
There was a few maths teachers, like older guys, you could tell that were kind of there. They didn't really need to be there. I mean, like, they'd done other stuff in their life,
like Mr.
but they
Tompkins
were doing it for the love of teaching people.
Yeah,
and I really respected that.
Like Tyson.
But yeah, Mr. Wilden is a hero. I only had him for 2 years, like the A-level-y kind of period. And the only thing I remember that was funny, we gave him the menu for the. I gave him the menu for the sixth form ball, and it was. Sticky toffee pudding was on there. And he looked, this is what he did, hang on. So he took the piece of paper. I was howling about this for days because I'm immature. He read it wrong and he went, "Ooh, stiffy tocky pudding." And till this day, it's stiffy tocky.
Yeah.
But no, he's a hero. I'd really like to get him on.
Yeah, that'd be amazing guest.
He's had an awesome weight loss journey as well.
Yeah, really he's got a lot to talk about. And we'd be able to get it from, we've left for a few years now, and he's retired, so he can pretty much be honest with us. We can say, what were we like as kids? So back in the day, in sixth form, I used to have one of them haircuts that was like big at the time, where it was like shaved rather than sort of a fade of some sort.
Big at the time on Crime Watch.
Yeah, exactly. Shaved right up to like one side was shaved up to the top and the other one wasn't.
Yeah.
It was in at the time, wasn't it? It was of its time.
Yeah, right, yeah. That's what we told him anyway.
And
Bless him.
I remember going in. I had maths that day, and I walked in, and he goes, "Oh, have you had your haircut?" Like said it as if to say, "Oh, it looks good." I was like, "Oh yeah," and they go, "Oh, when they're finishing it." Classic.
It was great at little jokes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Another
thing I've got on here for secondary school was love life, and I've got a theory about my love life in secondary school because it was non-existent. If anybody's wondering, and I've got a theory as to why that was. It's called the smelly lunchbox theory.
Right.
Because I think that not only was I
told you, just wash them in the shower. Just be careful what shower gel you use.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, not only was I an unattractive person to be around, but I had a smelly lunchbox. So, yeah. So, I think that what I had for lunch ruined my chances with the girls.
Right, go on.
Leave a comment if you agree or disagree.
Because it was
tuna sandwich and pickled onion Monster Munch crisps.
Tell us in the comments.
Oh, and a orange club bar.
Would you date someone if, quote unquote, their lunchbox smelt like tuna?
Exactly.
I wouldn't put that in your Tinder profile.
Yeah.
Sandwiches,
I'm taking it out now.
Well, we're going to do a whole podcast on
sandwiches
because I've got some right funny stories. But as you know, my go-to high school sandwich was cheese spread. And then whatever crisps I had would go in as enforcement in the sandwich.
Yeah, that works.
Shout out to Jack Eaton, my friend. His brother took squirty cream sandwiches to school.
Squirty cream.
Wow. So by the time he ate it, like dinner came, it was all just runny.
Disintegrated. Yeah.
Just going back to teachers, so I don't want to miss my opportunity to do my shout out. One of the good things about growing up is you realise what a good teacher is. So when I was at school, my favourite teachers, and I still wouldn't say a bad word against them now, they're still awesome people, but they were the ones where I could probably be the biggest prat. Because I was always a prat, but did good.
I know.
Same as you. So, lessons where the teachers were a bit more chilled were my favourite teachers. Yeah. And I really didn't like Mr. Griffiths. Mm-hmm. Steve Griffiths. Shout out Steve Griffiths.
Yeah. I really didn't like Steve Griffiths. Shout out.
No, I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you why now I've mentioned him. Because now, in hindsight, I now realise that a good teacher is one that properly cares about your education.
Yeah, 100%.
And your future. Mm-hmm. And it took me until probably the last day when I got my results and stuff to realise, oh my God, you're an actual legend.
Yeah.
And then now, and again, as I've got more mature, I've realised just all the little things that he did were brilliant. He's an amazing teacher. He still works at the Ferrers now.
Yeah.
Got him on Facebook. He's 45. Couldn't believe it. He looks great for
No, he does look good for that, yeah.
But yeah, so in his lesson, the reason why I said I didn't like him at the time is because he would always be on my back, and I'd only have to say one thing, and he'd be like, out, all the time. Like, I made life hell for him, and looking back now, I apologise, but he gave me that discipline. And I think it's because up until that time, I'd never had a teacher care about me that much, so it was weird to me. Do you know what I mean? I was like, why are you on at me all the time? When really, it's because he really cared. And then I remember in my last ever GCSE physics, I needed like 62 out of 100 to get an A, or 101 out of 100 to get an A star. And I got 100 out of 100.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's devastating, that is, though.
Yeah. And I can remember he didn't like say well done and that when he gave me my paper. He was just like, you could have got an A star. And
really?
I was like,
yeah.
But I like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, an A is good, though, isn't it?
He's another one I would actually love to get on because
Yeah.
he's very, very good, like very interesting into loads of sciencey stuff and geeky stuff that's interesting.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, he's really good at GCSE in physics, though, isn't it? I was just thinking about this was mainly it tends to be mainly when we were at Dove. So Dove campus was like year 7, 8, and 9, and I think it's probably because he's smaller then as well. But you'd have those days where you had cooking and PE on the same day.
Oh,
and you just go in like a mule.
That
wouldn't you?
Yeah, they did. The celebrities climbed Nicaragua or whatever it was, didn't they?
Yeah.
For comic relief and whatever. And I thought that's nothing compared to having cooking and PE on the same
Yeah,
day.
exactly. Yeah, if you've got rugby and you're making fajitas as well.
Jesus, you thought your lunchbox was stinky on the normal day.
Yeah,
Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
Yeah.
I was obviously great at cooking. I was like, I just loved it because I ate a lot of food.
Great eating as well.
Yeah. But no, I loved that. That was really good.
Yeah.
I think it might be time for your feature.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're eventually probably both going to have a couple of different features every week. Starting the first one today. So it's going to be called Robbie's Rankings.
You little ranker.
So what this is going to be is every week on the topic, I'm going to just give you 5 things, and then you got to rank them by whatever I tell you to rank them.
Rank them off.
Yeah. So yeah, rank me off. I'll read them out. You rank me off.
Okay.
So obviously on the theme of schools, and actually it's fitting quite well there what you're just talking about with food, because I'm going to give you 5 school dinner items,
Fantastic.
right? And then rank them from 1 to 5, I suppose, in terms of just how good they are or how excited you'd be if you saw them on the menu.
Is 1 good?
1 the best, yeah.
Okay.
So the 5 options are potato croquets. Right, they're in there on their own right. Some of them are actual full meals, but they're in there on their own right.
Go on then.
McDonald's Day as well. Shout out Belvedere. McDonald's Day.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what that is, it tends to be a Friday, I think, wasn't it?
Friday,
Once a month or
burger
something.
and chips.
Yeah, it's like burger and chips in like a brown bag. Yeah, good. Sparkle tray cake, I believe it's called, but it was just like a sort of.
You see it on
sponge.
Facebook now. It's just called school cake. It's just like a slab of sponge with white icing,
and hundreds and thousands
on top. Yeah.
Yeah. 4th one, Pasta King. Again, shout out to Ferrers. Pasta King, for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it was sort of like an outsourced food supplier who came in and they gave you like a pot of pasta and then you put whatever sauce, I think it was a sauce on top of the pasta. It's quite big in about
different, wasn't it?
Quite big in about 2007, 2008, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then the last one is bacon twist.
I was really hoping that was there.
Again, if nobody doesn't know what this is, it was sort of. What's it like at Greg's? Greg's have a certain similar thing, don't they?
So yeah, imagine a cheese and bacon turnover from Greg's. I believe that's what they're called.
Like he doesn't know.
Yeah, I think so. Just stuffing the Greg's receipts in my vacuum. It's not with us anymore, is it? Now during all this.
What?
COVID.
Greg's.
Greg's. Yeah. I missed the vegan sausage rolls. I never thought I'd say that. Anyway, yeah, it's just like a piece of bread with a big streak of bacon wrapped around it. But what made it beautiful was it made the bread wet, didn't it? It's like,
yeah,
it made it soggy with like bacon.
The bit where the
juice.
meat wrapped around it, it was moist.
Yeah, honestly, it was just. Anyway, we'll go into the rankings. So
yeah, so I want the 5 from 5 to 1,
mm-hmm.
and then your reasoning for where you've put it.
Okay, so number 5, I'm going Pasta King. Because it was nice, but you always got about an inch or 2 of water at the bottom.
I was expecting that, yeah.
Yeah, and it did make me gag a little bit.
I never had Pasta King, ever in my
Why
life.
not?
No. I just never did. I think I used to take sandwiches, obviously, again, back to the lunchbox. I used to take sandwiches, so I never had Pasta King. But
That's why you never had a girlfriend, wasn't it?
yes, correct.
Number 4, I'm going to go for McDonald's Day, because obviously
Okay.
it was good. But I was already full on 8 cartons of milk.
Exactly, yeah.
Number 3, I'll go potato croquettes, whatever they're called, croquets, croquettes. You can still buy them now in supermarkets, but they were elite at the time. Number 2 is the tray cake. School puddings in general, everyone, just have a think.
Fantastic. Because I was going to put and custard on there, but I don't know if that was going to knock it down the list or put it up.
I was always quite horizontally challenged as a child, but the dinner ladies didn't help.
Horizontally challenged.
Yeah.
Course, yeah.
But but the dinner ladies definitely didn't help. But they all loved me because I was this like chubby lad who like whatever they gave me, I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, and they save money on bins because just give it you.
Yeah. Like, just used to. I can remember vividly them just giving me like double portions and stuff because they loved me that much. Because I just sit and have conversations with them and that. Just But yeah, think of all the desserts: the shortbread, banging, flapjack,
yeah, the
chocolate shortbread. I think they call it like Summit
Yeah, that shortbread was
chocolate crunch or something. You can get that recipe online as well. Unreal. So yeah, tray cake's up there, but number one is bacon twist. So that actually got outed. Someone can tell me we're wrong in the comments if someone has someone who goes to school now and has them. But I'm pretty sure when the wave of Jamie Oliver came in, he ruined it for everyone. Never had a turkey Twizzler.
Yeah, so that didn't make it on the list because I actually don't think we ever had them at our
No,
school because I think
before
Jamie
our
had come
time.
in and destroyed us by then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jamie, I was going to say Jamie Redknapp then. Jamie Oliver saw an end to the bacon twist as well.
Yeah, it probably wasn't him, but
I think it was him.
When schools got a bit more uptight about calories, bacon twist was definitely never going to survive. But they were just beautiful, weren't they? I remember having 6 once.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your 5 again in order? 1 to
5.
5.
Pasta King. 4. McDonald's Day. 3. Potato croquettes. 2. Tray cake. And 1. Bacon twist.
Fantastic.
Any
Any notable mentions, things I haven't put in there that you think would have?
I was always a fan of school toast, so I used to go.
Yeah.
I used to go to Breakfast Club. Of course, I did. You only live down the road, Tommy. Yeah, but supporting the school. And it was just floppy. It looked like being cooked with an airdryer.
Yeah.
And then a
No,
load
exactly
of
what
butter
you
on
mean.
it, and it was just fantastic. There's going to be people watching this now of our era shouting things out. She used to do Paula. Remember at sixth form centre? We had her own little cook.
Mm-hmm.
She used to make bacon, cheese, and beans baguettes.
Yes, yeah. See, I couldn't remember if
They
it
were
was.
stunning.
Wasn't it sausage? Was it
Yeah, she did sausage
yeah,
ones as
sausage,
well.
cheese, and bean baguette
Yeah.
as well.
Whatever you like, really.
Yeah,
She was
and
another
the
lovely
muffins
lady.
as well. The school muffins were good.
Mm.
They had the chocolate ones. They were
Yeah.
decent. Who was that guy in your year who had like loads of bacon twists?
Dan Smith. Shout out Dan Smith. He worked at Stretton Mackey's last time I
Yeah,
knew. But he
But
also
he's-
does first aid and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice chap.
he used to work his way through bacon twists, didn't he?
Yeah. He used to. Can you remember the run to the?
Oh yeah.
Everyone
Yeah,
used to
savage.
run to like whether it was lunch or dinner. Lunch or your morning break. You'd have to leg it to get bacon twists
Yeah.
because they were like, they were like gold dust, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because people you can't buy one bacon twist. It's impossible. They're just unreal. I actually feel
It's
sad
impossible.
for people who've not had one.
Yeah. No, they are good. I remember. Like I say that the bread that had been in contact with the meat was sensational, wasn't it?
Should probably stop talking about food now. Yeah. So all in all, great time school.
Yeah.
Really. And I do. We've
So what was your favourite year? What was your favourite school year?
probably year 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Like the GCSE years.
When you're doing your drama and stuff.
Yeah, drama. Being at Trent, so the Ferries were split into 2 campuses. Obviously, Trent being the big boy stuff, but yeah, really loved it. Really enjoyed it. Probably the peak of the social side of it as well.
Yeah.
So, like making good friends.
Yeah, my favourite was year 13 because I was head boy. Obviously, like in sixth form, that was made it like better because then we had quite a good relationship with the teachers as well. So like Miss Hulbert and those guys. Shout out Karen.
She's awesome. Isn't she?
Yeah. So we had like a good relationship with those guys and Miss Bickle and everything. So you sort of felt like you were somewhere between because you were there on your own of your own steam as well. You don't have to be there obviously at sixth form. You're making that decision to go and get more education, but you can sort of go if you want to. So there's a bit more of the balance. The teacher like student balance is a bit better in terms of the respect level and stuff. And you sort of feel like, especially with being in the head team, like with me and signing Ginger and everybody, felt like we were their friends as well as them being our teachers.
Yeah.
And like organising the sixth form parties and the ball at the end of the year, all that sort of stuff. I loved that. It was like one of the best years of my life, I think, year 13.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got a story actually of, again, I don't want to say anybody's name in it. It's difficult to not tell the story without saying the woman's name. But when we were in the head team, if anybody who's in the head team is watching this, they'll remember this. They needed a new head of sixth form, right? So as part of the process to get the new head in, they decided to let the head team interview the candidates, right? one of which I think was an internal, so that was awkward. So one of our teachers. But so we got our heads together and we came up with these list of questions, and we said, "Oh, we'll ask everybody the same questions." Bosh. And some of the questions are awful, really bad. So Ginge, Connor Chamberlain, his question, I still remember it to this day. It was something like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good were we as interviewers? And that was his only question. So he had to wait for the whole interview and then say that.
The
at
most
the end.
self-indulgent question you've ever
isn't
heard.
it? Yeah. So that was hilarious. But one of the questions was, if you're an animal, what animal would you be? Right? And this woman's name, I'm going to say that she didn't get the job, and I don't think she works at DeFerrers. This woman's name was Mrs. Oberman, right? Right?
Yeah.
So she said the answer to...
The first name Deborah.
No, listen, the answer to... name was right. I don't know if I can say that or not. I might have to beat that out. We'll beat that out.
Okay.
And yeah, so her answer to the question, if you were an animal, what would it be? Was, well, some people call me the Doberman. And I'm thinking, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, Mrs. Oberman. Because I'm loyal and I'm tenacious. And I'm sat there thinking...
And
no,
love doggy.
Yeah, I'm sat there thinking, surely it's because your name's Mrs. Oberman. And she didn't mention it. How weird is that?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, as part of my job now, I do a lot of interviews on a weekly basis, so
Yeah.
that'll be a good one to talk about another time. Like my pet hates with interviews and some of the funny answers I've heard.
Yeah, I bet you loads it, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you ever say to him, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good was I as an
Yeah.
interviewer?
Yeah. How great have I been today? Right, we should probably start wrapping up then, because we're about to hit the hour mark.
No way. Really?
Yeah. Flies
Okay.
done to when you're
Yeah,
having
it
fun. What are we going to talk about next time?
I think probably careers. So off the
South
back...
Korea, North Korea.
Yeah, off the back of this, so we'll end from where we were in sixth form.
Mm-hmm.
So as Tommy just said, you did A-levels, but then you sort of like left after AS
Yeah.
to start work, which we'll start there then next time.
Mm-hmm.
And I did A-levels and then went to university.
I'm
so
sure you've got plenty of uni stories.
I've got some great uni stories. So yeah, we'll leave it there for this week. If you can like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel, that'd be really, really appreciated. We'll put like a little trailer video up on Facebook with obviously a link that's brought you over to this. So if you can share that trailer video around on Facebook, which would be quite good as well.
We're kind of going into this with the thought process of the majority of people who are going to watch us to begin with are going to be, family, friends, school friends, colleagues. But the more you can share it and get the word out there, it would be great, wouldn't it? To
Definitely
build a bit of an audience. So, yeah. Should we end it on that then?
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.